Here I am. This was requested. My friend Raoul did this. Now, it does look different in this lighting. This looks a little different. This one looks a little bit more purple, but I'm going to show it what it looked like on the carpet. And then here you can see it looks a lot more burgundy. It does. We're doing the brows. Obviously, I blocked out my brows because it's Feral Monday. Please forgive the little hymns you're gonna be hearing throughout this. I do feel much better, but I'm wheezing. Now I'm actually gonna do, I'm sorry, I love makeup. I even love this part of it. I know this is not what a lot of you would want to do in your daily routine. But to me, this is a lot of fun, and this is why we designate Feral Monday. And if you ever wonder why Feral Monday, feral just means to go wild and just be free, and that's what we're doing here. So this looks very intimidating, but it's not. If we use a very small brush, which like an E27, we're gonna be good to go. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to lay down a clear base, something translucent. This one from Sephora Collection it's been great. It's been doing what I need it to do. So we're just gonna lay this down. And I also want everything to be really, really smudgy around my lash line. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just going to kind of just go ahead and put it all the way around the rim of my eye, even into my lashes. You're about to see why. We're gonna use this to our advantage. Now I mentioned the small brush, but we need to even this out. So I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and I'm kind of putting it into my lashes, just smoothing it up to our blocked brow. I didn't do my best job on my brows, but we're recovering here, y'all. I should have used more powder, but I'm trying not to use too much powder, obviously, because of the bronchitis that decided it needed to take up residence in my lungs. Now, this look is definitely, you might not even like it once it's finished. It's all up to taste. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's art. It's very 1920s reminiscent. I just think it's stunning. But it's going to be even more terrifying during the process. So we're going to have to trust that. We're going to take our eye pencil, and I'm going to go ahead and go on top and bottom waterline. And we're even going to take it a little bit out. And that's going to keep the eye very contained. You're thinking, what the heck? This was 10 years ago and I would have looked at this look, I would have started out here. I would have started and worked my way in. But the easier way, even with any smoky eye, I'm talking day to day, is to, especially if you're kind of struggling and you're trying to find that groove, work outwards. And remember how we put that eyeshadow base around there? It's going to make sure that this has a little bit longer of a blending time. So we want that, minus the big gene bean here that was somehow entangled in my lashes. How did that get there, gene bean? Okay, good enough. Grab that E27. And this brush is so slept on. If you have small eyes, hooded eyes, or you kind of want to get into just more smudgier, controlled looks, this is your brush. Okay. Again, keep it contained. You're going, Rose, that's not contained. Oh, ho, ho. This is contained. I promise. Because this is still a very smudgy look. But let me tell you, smudgy gets away from you really fast. And also, smudgy can end in over blending. So we're trying to prevent both of those things simultaneously by using the smaller brush. Over blending equals patchiness and it equals dull color. It's a real thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little secret depth, okay? I'm going to take whatever's left here on my brush and I'm just going to start to bring it up through here. And this is acting as our eyeshadow base. I want to try to not get black eyeshadow involved because, again, you can really overdo it very quickly. So we're just going to work with what we got on our eye already. And I'm just kind of grabbing from here. And remember, that's not completely dry yet, which is what we want. We don't want it to dry too quickly. That's why we put that eyeshadow base there. Slowing down the dry time actually helps us. Sometimes dry times, they kind of stifle what we're trying to do. So by putting that base there first, that was such a good idea. Now on this side, we're not going to take this further up than kind of my natural lid space, but I'm glad somebody's getting some really nice rest. Jean is just absolutely honk chewing. But I didn't want to take this up too far because most of the shading is towards the front. Now, like I said, I don't want to use something that's black, but I want something that's almost black. Sorry. Just bear with me, okay? So compared to, you can see that this is a true black right here. And then here we have something that has a little bit more of a red purple to it. Now, too much purple and then we could get a little ashy is the word. But if we use a small brush and we just tap, I'm just going to focus this. I'm not going to bring this shade all the way up. I'm just going to focus it there. And notice that I'm tapping. That's going to help make sure that that pigment doesn't get over blended as well. Once things are over blended, that's one of the hardest things to save. You can save a patchy foundation. There's so many things you can save, but an over blended eyeshadow is almost impossible to save. Okay, you know it's getting good when your phone ID is not recognizing you anymore. We're going places. So I'm gonna grab this big old Viseart palette and I'm gonna grab a little bit of this shade. Notice that I picked up the tiniest amount, and then a little bit of this shade. And I'm gonna see if that takes us to the burgundy era that we need to be in here. So I'm gonna start to just take this and tap it right on top of the first shades. And we want to make sure we tap because we don't want to overblend and tap over and mess up kind of that groundwork that we already laid down. Now the reason I switched to this brush is because I want to be able to just lay down that color right on top. I don't want to shade anymore. I kind of just want to start to melt and start to transform this into the burgundy. But where we're going right now is a little bit too red, but I'm just going to keep tapping a couple more times because sometimes when that red mixes with the darker shades, it'll start to kind of turn back into a purple. But again, very light, thoughtful taps. All right, let's check our work. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm gonna wipe my brush off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep tapping the top part just to kind of dull it down a little bit. This is the photo I'm going to reference. The other one, it looks a little bit, well, it looks a lot different, but lighting can change everything. So I'm just going to go off of this photo. I'm taking a whisper of the red. This one. Let me show you. Just a whisper of this one right here. The darker one, the one that little less orange one. And I'm just pushing that right on top of everything. Pushing it up into here. We're about to put the different brow on in just a second. I have to wipe off some of that powder, but we're not there yet. And then I think I'm just going to leave the center bare, but ever so lightly kind of connect to this. I want it to look really melted into my actual skin tone. Now, in a little while, I'm just going to show you now because it's really fun. I'm not going to do it yet, but in a little while, I'm going to use this blush because it's going to match. It's got that red. I'm going to take a C41, I'm going to stamp, but I got to get everything else on first, and that just kind of finishes out the blend. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's something to note because we're not going to be perfectly blended here. So, well, not yet. So we're just going to leave it like this, but we're in a good place. I promise. Now I have a little bit of powder foundation on our E29. I'm just going to soften these edges. And this is important because I don't really want to put a lot of liquid around here, so melting with the powder foundation is a really good idea. Now, hopefully I can do this without coughing, and I just kind of freehand these while Ben types away in there, or taps away. He could be dancing, I don't know. And I'll just kind of keep going back and make sure that they match. And then I'm going to carve them. Alright, I have a full coverage concealer here. This is so satisfying. And then this is where I was telling you we were going to take the C41 and this Valentino blush, and we're just going to take that and press it in here. And you're just covering, look at that. You're just covering such a large area so evenly and all at once that it just creates the most beautiful seamless finish. I don't even think we're going to need lashes with this look. I'm just going to use my Maxi Mod mascara. This one's Kiko Milano. And I'll just comb it through with my lash comb and do my little lash technique. I haven't even dipped back in. Look at how good that looks. It's standing up against all of that dark eyeshadow too. Yeah, that looks perfect. So I kind of want to venture off from the look, but just a hair. I want to add sparkle in the center. I'm going to let you vote. I'm going to add just a little bit of sparkle, but if you don't want me to, just vote no. But y'all know how I get. I can't be tamed. And then from the powder, my brows are a little bit too cool tone, so I'm actually going to grab this freckle pen. And the reason why is because it's just extremely warm. I'm going to show you on the back of my hand. See how warm that is? So it'll kind of counteract that. And my brows are so glued down that it's not going to stain in any way. So we're good to go. Just warm it up just a little bit. Let's reference the look again. It's looking so good. So you'll notice she doesn't have bronzer, but there's a sculpt there, and I have the perfect shade. Also, I did my brows to match my hair. She has blonde hair there, so if you're wondering why the brows are really dark, so are my roots. Okay, so, but anyways, this is, I want to really quickly touch on bronzer, contour that can be seen or looks best in everyday life. Let's chat about that for just a second. Now, I'm not here to ever tell you exactly how to do your makeup. These are just ideas. And for me, I would wear an absolute sculpted contour if I wanted to wear it during the day. And if I didn't, I'm not going to wear it. Please do what makes you happy. But there's an idea. So contour is a shadow. Shadows are generally very, very cool, very, very gray. You can see this right here. I don't have makeup on, but you'll see that it almost matches the gray behind me. That's the general rule. That's it. Now, how I got into makeup is I was a singer. I was on stage. So I was doing a lot heavier sculpting then. But I realized that in the day-to-day, I didn't need that level of gray, but I still wanted to kind of sculpt my features. So this is where a color like this comes in. This is what I call kind of a in-between sculpt color. This right here is going to be cool enough to shape, but it's also going to have just a touch of warmth that just doesn't look absolutely gray like something like this. So that's a really good reference. So this would be a true sculpting contour on me. This is really nice and cool. And then let me show you what kind of leans us over into bronzing. And then this is something that takes us over into bronzing. You can see how much cooler that is than that. So that's all we're doing. And that's what I thought we would do for this look. I might actually even use a little bit of this. We'll come back to this. I'll label it because this is a little bit more of a special look, if you will. But I definitely want to use this. And this is from Kiko Milano. I'm going to get you the link. It's, these are so slept on. So slept on. I'm sure a lot of us have seen this very expensive Westman Atelier stick, but I just wanted you to know that they are so similar. So similar. And this one's $16.50. So I actually prefer the formula of this. It's not as wet as this. Okay, so I'm just going to use this Hourglass concealer. I'm going to use a lot of it. I'm just going to use it as my foundation today. I'm starting to fade quickly here. The pizzazz I started with is waning. Oh, sorry, it posted before I could tag it. This is Hourglass. It's the concealer shade Silk. And then we're going to blend that out with our C42. I'm going to grab my concealer brush in just a second, but I was just going to get this blend going here. It's kind of fun to watch it blend out. And I'll show you how we'll blend it in here too, through the center. Jamie. Now I'm going to take from small amounts here on my face, okay? And we're going to take that and just tap it in here. And then we'll tap around and kind of do that same thing over here. This is, I don't want it to be a harsh line. I just want it to melt. We can blur the edges with the blush in just a second. But we gotta get our initial melt. Okay, let's grab our Kiko Milano stick. We're gonna grab it on our C40. I actually filmed a video on the best way to use this. I need to post it. I'm gonna post it on the Rosenbend Beauty page, so make sure you're following there. I'm gonna start doing a little how to use the brushes videos. And I'm just gonna tap this on. I want to lightly build it, pick up some more. Or you could do it on the, I gotta clean the back of my hand. You could put this on the back of your hand. Especially, this is a really good way if you're doing clients and you don't want to have to dip back in and contaminate. So just put a bunch on the back of your hand like that, and then just keep going back to your hand to do it. I always want to teach all the techniques. I don't want you to feel like you have to do it this way, but it's just it's a good idea. Especially if you're dealing with breakouts or you do clients. Now we're going to connect the shadow to the nose contour. Look at what a difference that makes. Isn't that fun? Makeup is so much fun. I love transformative makeup. I thought we would do like a really nice classic bronzy look later this week though. I thought that would be fun. Y'all deserve that after putting up with this. Now we're gonna come back. We're still gonna add some more here. But I'm gonna grab this shade. Look at how perfect that is. This is an artist color pencil from Makeup Forever, and I don't want fallout. So I'm just gonna take this and use that wet concealer. Let me scoot closer, hang on. We're gonna use that wet concealer to our advantage. Woo, that's perfect. Sometimes you just gotta woo when it's looking right. Grab my E27, and I'm just gonna tap and soften the edges. Bring it over this way. And then I need to go check and see if it's kind of smoked out with any kind of red under there. All right, I checked and there is some blush around there. Let's take our fluffy brush here. We're gonna tap it in here. Let's kind of brighten all this up a little bit. And do not worry about anything like that. We do this before we add any kind of powder. We are not locked in. I repeat, we are not locked in. I could have taken a smaller brush, but then that would run the risk of it becoming too compact. And this look is all about being very, very smoky. So just a second, don't panic. Everybody calm down. Gene, calm down. He's dead asleep. All we gotta do is just take a concealer brush with a little bit of a pot concealer. I'm just wiping it off. We're just kind of scooping. Perfect, easy peasy. Now we'll take our concealer brush again, which is coming soon. And we'll just tap around. But now we have that, still have that bright blur. See that? We had to do that. Ooh, thunder. But now we have the brightness that we needed. And we still have our soft smoky look, but then our concealer is now fixed. Easy peasy. Checking my work again. I'm gonna add just a little bit of the blush here. Tiny amount. It actually looks like she doesn't have that much blush on through here, but it's definitely kind of a very soft drape, like the shadow's just lightly falling down. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set. I'm actually gonna use powder foundation just to really make sure that we're nice and full coverage. I'm using a Studio Fix. We're having fun today. And this is just, all I'm wanting to do is add more coverage. This is something I normally wouldn't do in the day-to-day, but it's fun for this look. satisfying to watch it set too. Now I gotta figure out what lip color. I mean, I know what lip color we're doing. We're doing a really glossy burgundy, but I gotta put it all together. Let's sculpt that out a little bit. And then I'm going to give you the link for the puff because these are on Amazon now, and who doesn't love Amazon Prime? I know I do. So I think I want to sculpt a little bit more. So let's grab this. This is from Sephora collection, and this is just my perfect absolute sculpting stage color. This is going to look gray, except for on camera. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to sculpt a little bit more on the sides of my nose. And then I want to sculpt a little bit more here. It works, but it is gray. I'm talking pigeon belly gray. All right, everybody voted sparkle, and I think we should use this. This is from Rituel de Fille, and these are so cool. I'm gonna grab a clean E27, and I'm just gonna put a tiny amount. I really am gonna try. And just put that right in the center. And these are a little bit more of like a glaze. So I thought that'd be cool for the look. By the way, y'all did vote that you did want to see some sparkle. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Ooh, that's perfect. Now for my lips, I thought this color would be perfect because it's gonna be glossy, but then it's not gonna go everywhere. So Kiko Milano, what shade is this? This is an unlimited double touch in 122. I'll go find you the exact name. That's the only thing about Kiko Milano. The names are kind of hard to trace down. Okay, let's make sure we don't have anything. All right, we're good. And then I'm gonna work in sections, small sections. With a dark color, any dark color, no matter what the brand, they sometimes wanna get patchy. So just kind of tap and work in a small section. So I'm gonna work in 4 sections, 4 parts of my lips. All right, now that this is dry, we can add the glossy part on top. And it's gonna look pretty similar to the lip she has on. But we don't have to worry about the lip line bleeding. We're just good to go. I'm gonna grab that E29 and our red blush again, just add a little bit more in here. Just gonna do some finishing touches. It is interesting, this picture is completely different than the one that we used for reference, but her brows are darker here than they were. Maybe this was a test shot before. I am curious. Either way, I think the look that I did looks like this, and then the one that we mainly focused on, it looks like a nice even match between those two. And then here's the one that we mostly referenced. You can see that her brows are lighter there, but they're definitely more like mine in the other picture. So it does make sense to kind of do a trial run before you do these types of events. But I love this look. It's so 20s, and it's just, it made my makeup heart sing. Let me tell you, there ain't no singing right now. I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but you know, we can all enjoy different things at the same time. I love this look. It is so much fun, and I think Raoul is just an incredible artist. He inspires me so much. I love you all so much. Tomorrow we'll do something less spooky, but this look was highly requested. So tomorrow we'll do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more simple. Maybe we'll do some extra bronzy. Summer is here. Well, it's here for me. It's 90 outside. All right, I love you all so much. I'm gonna go make myself a hot tea, and I got a couple other things that I want to film, but I love you with all of my heart.